So yesterday we have started from this tilt sensor, right, which is also known as a inclinometer, right. So we have seen that like most of the application, right, like camera, video camera in aeroplane, in some robotic system, in your vehicle, in automobile, right, in some of the PlayStation, your video game control, right. In that generally we are using this tilt sensor. The common type of the tilt sensor, like it has the construction, like it has a conductive plate, and that plate is there is a cut between that plate, right. So uh, generally it is considered as a like open circuit or open switch, right, and one ball is there inside that is a metallic ball. So one, it will come in the contact, right. uh, that path will be closed. The path between the plate will be closed, and that is considered as a closed circuit, right. So based on that, it will tell the tilt, right, how much the ball is uh, some direction is moved. Based on that, your sensor will give you the reading of the tiltness, right, or the reading of the inclination. uh, the common type of tilt sensor, like based on what technology they are using for manufacturing or operation, right? Based on that, we can classify like three types of tilt sensor, right? So the first one is MEMS sensor, right? So this MEMS means micro electromechanical system, right? So in that sensor, we are using both electronics as well as some mechanical structure or mechanical uh, mechanism. Then the second type is force balance sensor, right? And the third one is fluid filled sensor, right? So in that we are filling some material inside the sensor. So that we have not seen yesterday in the detail. So let's see brief detail about this type of tilt sensor, right? So first the MEMS sensor. So this sensor will look like the IC, right, or some chip. So these solid state MEMS type of sensor are very small in the size, right? Uh, and if we'll talk about the construction, then it consists of the movable proof mass plate that are attached to a reference frame through a mechanical suspension system, right? So here you can see like it has a mechanical suspension system, and that's why its name is micro electromechanical system. Uh, so here in this type of sensor, we can say like that it's a technique of combination of mechanical as well as electrical components, right? And they're combined together, and we are making a chip, right? And this chip will generate a system of a miniature dimension. Miniature means very small dimension, right? uh, and the small, like how much they are small. So the dimension, we can say like, if we'll see their thickness of this sensor, then it may be equivalent to your hair, right, human hair. So that much of small, or that much of micro thickness this sensor has. uh, it is not like all MEMS sensor have that much of thick, right? Depends on your application, we can generate, but minimum you can generate that much of thickness, right? So you can see in the figure like the first figure is like a person is holding that circuit uh, in his hand, right? So you can see like the size of this, that sensor, that is a kind of gyroscope or accelerometer. So that is, its size is about like the tip of your finger, and actual sensor is, you can see like IC in the center, right? In the circuit, if you see IC is there, so that is actual sensor. The remaining things are like the electronics which is in the support, right? So that much of small size of sensor, right? This MEMS type, right? Uh, so So this type of sensor are used in the medical applications, some industrial, aerospace, some automotive applications, right? So you can say like in your phone also, whatever the tilt sensor we have, right? That is this MSME, MEMS type, right? So the sensor are used like smartphone, game, some medical test, in satellite also. This kind of sensor are used, and the how they are manufactured. So that is a similar to like IC fabrication. Right? So similar way, this type of sensor are manufactured, right? And some examples are gyroscope and accelerometer, right, which we are using to find the position, or we can say like the the position with respect to x, y, and z axis in the space. And the second type is force balance sensor. So this is also like the frequently used sensor, right? So this type of sensor will find frequently used in the inclinometer or tiltmeter. The main advantage of this sensor is its accuracy, right? High accuracy. So we can say like the most accurate tilt sensor are this force balance type, right? And also uh, they are insensitive to the temperature change, right? So you can use in some chemical uh, field, right? In some chemical industry in which like there is a chance of uh, increased temperature, right? You have to work in some higher temperature, right? So there you can use it. uh, then the sensor are used in some military application. They can use in rail, ship, vehicle, such kind of transportation application. They can use in aircraft, right? Some of the construction and agriculture equipment, right? In that also we are using this type of tilt sensor, right? And the disadvantage of this type is its cost, right? Why its cost? Because it is these type of sensor are expensive, and the reason is because they are providing high accuracy, right? Their casing, their construction is like you can utilize them in higher temperature, right? So because of that its cost is high, and you can consider as a disadvantage. Then the fluid field sensor. So in this type we can say like two type of sensor. Some sensors are capacitive and some sensors are of electrolytic type, right? So let's see one by one. So electrolytic sensor, so this is used to measure an angle, and the angle may be expressed in degree, you can express in arc minutes, you can express in the arc second, right? So in these different units you can generate the you can measure the angle, right, using this electrolytic sensor. This type produce the extremely accurate pitch measurement in many applications, and this type of sensor also will give you the higher accuracy, right? So the sensor is easily maintain their higher accuracy, and the size is also small. Uh, how this function, how this sensor will work? So this type of sensor function by using cavity filled with a fluid or sometimes glass, right? So the fluid performs uh, between a common positive and negative electrode, right? So in the next slide I will show you. Inside you can see the figure. So in that you can see like you have the electrodes, right? Two electrodes, positive and negative, uh, right? And in the center you have a common, and you have placed that in, in a casing in which you will fill the fluid, right? So once your sensor will tilt, once your sensor will make angle, right, you can see like the fluid will have more contact with some positive or maybe negative electrode, and at the same time it have the less contact with the other electrode, right? So once like your sensor, it's normal condition, right? Or we can say it's leveled. At that time both the positive and negative electrodes are consistently uh, submerged within the fluid, and because of that it will produce a balanced signal output, right? So means your sensor is balanced, that kind of signal it will generate. And when the sensor is rotated, when it will make an angle, right, this fluid will like imbalance, and this imbalance is uh, uh, created like uh, the more contact area with one electrode and the less contact area with the other electrode, right? Uh, and because of that, you you will generate a signal which is proportional to that imbalance, right? Or we can say whatever the rotation, whatever the angle, right? Uh, Proportional to that, the signal will generate. So they have make the mapping that way. So that is a fluid filled electrolytic sensor. Then other type or other is capacitive type, right? So in capacitive type, you will see like it has like the casing, right? So in casing, you are unable to see what is inside, right? But it is the outer look of the capacitive tilt sensor, right? Which you are seeing in slide. Uh, so this type is designed to take a non-contact measurement of inclination and tilt. Uh, and this type of sensor you like are available in the form of switch as well as sensor. The main advantage of this type of sensor is its performance ratio and the cost effectiveness, right? So they are means of low cost. They are low cost, right? But definitely, if they are low cost, means they do not have that much of accuracy, right? So that is the disadvantage. So if you see the construction, then this, right, this capacitive type have like not a single type of construction, but one of the possible construction you can see in the slide, right? So it will like consist of suspension beams, form drive capacitors, and the central proof mass, right? So here you can see like it is generated a form type of structure, right? So when the sensor will tilt, right, then the central mass move towards one of the combs, so the capacitance increase at one side and the decrease at the other side, and based on that it will generate a signal which you will map like what is the angle of tiltness, right? So here mass means uh, some fluid, right, or some material, right? So there is the fluid filled sensor, right, and this is capacitive type. uh, the next level sensor, so that we have discussed, right, it's generally used to detect the level of liquid, or we can say like water or some semi solid or granule materials, right? uh, Sometimes also you can use level sensor to find the level of some solids which are in the form of powder, right? So if you have a container, in that container what amount of material is filled, to find that thing we'll use the level sensor. uh, so these level sensor are classified into two types, right? One is the point level sensor, and the second is the continuous level sensor, right? So what is the difference between this point level sensor and continuous level sensor, right? So in some application you just need to find like the material present at this level or not, or the material will reach to that particular level or not, right? So at such kind of application we are using the point level sensor, right? It just tell you like uh, your material is above or below at specific level, right? So it's just tell you that above or below. And the continuous level sensor, that type of sensor will give you continuously reading about the level, like starting from zero it will tell you like now it's 1 ml, 2 ml, like 1 liter, 2 liter, right? So between that also they will provide the amount or whatever the like mass of the material, right? They will provide do the continuous reading like 2.3 liter, 3.4 liter, right? So continuously they are providing the reading. So those type of level sensor are continuous level sensor. Further, we can divide this level sensor in the type like invasive and the non-contact, right? So some level sensor, like that sensor you have to put inside the material for which you want to measure the level, right? So you have to place the sensor inside the material, so material will come in the contact with your sensor. So those type are invasive. And the second is the non-contact sensor, then that you just need to place sensor on container or at some distance, right? From that it will tell you the level of the fluid, of level of the material, right? So generally this non-contact sensor, right? So not only this level sensor but any type of non-contact sensor, they are definitely use some kind of waves, some kind of signal. So they will transmit the signal and after that they will receive the signal, and whatever the time taken by the signal in traveling, right, based on that they will find the parameter, physical parameter, right? So here the level sensor will tell you the level of the material inside the container, right? So contact sensor, right, we are using two type of waves. One is like ultrasonic and the second is the microwave, right? uh, Also one popular level sensor which is known as a float switch, right? And that is like uh, will work as a switch which is generally used at our home in overhead tank, right? Then the one type is optical sensor. So optical sensor, you can also tell them non-contact sensor, right? Because they will generate some signal, and this optical level sensor will generate the infrared. They are using infrared waves, right? And the photodiode. Then one more type is the photoelectric proximity sensor. So they are also kind of a non-contact sensor. So you will place that on the container, right? And the container is generally made of transparent, right? So whenever the level will reach to that sensor, right, it will tell you like uh, the level is reached to that particular point. Figure you can see the plots. The optical sensor you can also see which are using infrared. Here we are putting that in the tank wall, right? Then photoelectric sensor you can see, right, there we are placed on like the container. Then some other type of level sensor are capacitive level sensor, right? So in that like the in the sensor we have the material, so which will change its capacitance value, right, based on the level reached to the sensor, and based on that we will generate the signal, output signal, right? uh, then one more type is tuning fork, right? It's a kind of level sensor which use the difference in the pressure and vibration to measure the liquid level, right? Then as I told, non-contact type of level sensor, we have ultrasonic level sensor and microwave level sensor, right? So what is the difference? Ultrasonic level sensor will generate the sound waves or ultrasonic waves, and the microwave level sensor will generate the microwave signal, right, or microwaves. These microwave level sensor are also known as a radar sensor. uh, so capacitive type you can see in the figure, right? It's a kind of metallic rod on which some circuit is attached, right? So when you put this inside a tank, right, it will continuously tell what is the level, right? So here you can see like whatever the water comes in the contact with the that metallic rod, right? Based on the capacitance of the that rod will change, and we will measure the level. Right? So radar you can see we will put on the container at some distance. They will generating the microwaves, right? And whatever the waves reflected back from that, they will measure the level. The ultrasonic you can see, right? The microwave level sensor you can see they are available in many different size, right? In different shape. That is because different manufacturer will produce make this kind of sensor. Uh, can say like to select the sensor you have to consider the many parameter, right? Like the physical parameter, in which condition you want to operate, right? Or what is the type of the fluid for which you want to measure the level, right? So you have to consider the physical parameter of that material. uh, so most of we can say like in the chemical plant we are using this level sensor. Next one is the moisture sensor. So moisture sensor generally we are using to find the level of moisture inside the soil. So that's why they are also known as the soil moisture sensor, and they will measure like volumetric water content in the soil. Now to measure the direct gravimetric measurement of soil, free soil, right? So for that you need to like for soil you have to do some process like removing, dyeing, weighing, right, of sample, and that is a hectic process we can say. So generally in the soil moisture sensor, what they will do, they will measure the volumetric water content inside the soil, right? And they will measure this volumetric water content inside the soil by using some other property of soil, right? So those other properties are like electric resistance, maybe dielectric constant, or it may be the interaction with a neutron as a proxy for the moisture content. So using this kind of property of soil, right, we are measuring the volumetric water content inside the soil, and from that we can tell like what is the level of moisture inside the soil. So most common type of soil moisture sensor, in which in that we can include gypsum block, right? So this gypsum block means you can call it like gypsum block type of moisture sensor. Some are called as a tension meter or tensiometer, right? Some moisture sensor are of capacitive type, right? So in that similar to the capacitive level sensor, here also in the moisture sensor it are using some material. So whenever the moisture content or volumetric water content of soil will change, it will say change its capacitance value, and we will measure that capacitance value, and from that we will give the level of moisture, right? Some are of neutron probe type, right? uh, so we'll see some of them, right? I will show you the picture of all. uh, so these sensors either measure the soil tension when placed in soil or measure the volumetric water content, right? So two way they can measure the moisture, right? So they will measure the soil tension, and that is used by the tensiometer or tension meter, right? And other all types are measure the volumetric water content in the soil. So first is the gypsum block type of soil moisture sensor. You can see in the picture, right? So this kind of uh, sensors are available in the market, right? You can see like it is also known as a water switch, right? So this type of sensor, this type of moisture sensor have two electrode, right? And that are inside the plaster, right? So when water enter in the block of the gypsum, right, it becomes less resistant, right? So here they are using the property of resistance, right? The block have two wires extending out of the block and connecting to some uh, handheld reader or data logger, right? So where you can read the reading, right? Uh, so this type of soil moisture sensor takes some time for gypsum to absorb the moisture, right? Here they are using gypsum material, so this gypsum will take some time to absorb the moisture, and because of that, uh, whenever you put this sensor in the soil, right, they will not directly giving the exact reading, right? You have to wait for some time, right? So you can say like there is a lag with this type of sensor, and because of they are made of gypsum block, and you have to put that block inside the soil, right? So because of that, after some time or over time, this block will break, right? So you need to replace them every couple of season, right? So after every couple of time, every after some duration, you have to replace them, right? So the lifetime is depends on like different manufacturing use different quality of the material, right? So they will in the data sheet they will tell you like what is the lifetime of this gypsum block soil moisture sensor, right? The main advantage or feature of this type is like they are relatively very easy to install, right? And they are not that much of expensive. Then the second type is tensiometer or tension meter, right? So these moisture, these type of soil moisture sensor are very accurate and also affordable, means their cost is not that much of high, right? And they will give you like reading, like they have a dial on the sensor or on the device, right? So this device you see in the slide, that is a type of a sensor. It will look like a device or equipment, right? But it is a soil moisture sensor. So they have a dial you can see. So on that dial they will it will give you the reading, right? So from that you can read on the dial. Uh, right? So they will give you reading in the centibar. And what is the disadvantage or we can say like challenge in this type of moisture sensor is they are like they require more regular maintenance, right, compared to other type of soil moisture sensor. And why they need the maintenance? Because in this type, like when you want to measure the moisture, right, in this equipment or in this sensor you have to fill the water up to some level, right? So you have to maintain that level. So if you miss the refill or if you refill the water incorrectly, then you will get the wrong or bad data or wrong reading, right? So whatever the moisture reading they are providing may be not accurate, not exact, right? So that is the disadvantage. Then the capacitive type, in that type you can see like it's also look like a roll, right? Similar to the level sensor. So this type will measure the water volume in the soil by releasing an electric charge into the soil, which measure the soil's dielectric constants, right? So they are measuring the dielectric constant, and from that we will get the value of the moisture contained inside the soil. The soil has different electric constants based on the amount of water in the soil, right? So as the level of water, right, amount of water will change inside the soil, this dielectric constants value will also change. So this type of capacitive type of moisture sensor, right, they are durable, robust, and low maintenance, right? Like once you will install inside the soil, right, you will not regularly check them or do the maintenance. They this type of sensor they also provide the soil moisture measurement at various soil depth, right? So they have the capacity like if you have the a long pipe, right, or long size of the this capacitive moisture sensor is somewhat long, then there are facility like you can get the soil moisture at different level, right? Because we know like when you measure the when you dig inside the soil, right, at different level you find the different water content. Uh, so you can purchase them in various length, right? So based on your application, at what depth you want to find the moisture level, right? So based on that you will choose the length. So they are available with various length to observe the water movement through the soil, right? And some of the soil moisture sensor, this capacitive type of soil moisture sensor, they will also offer the soil temperature, soil salinity, right? Fertilizer level, right? So this all measurement they can do. not all, but some manufacturers have developed the soil moisture sensor such a way that including along with the moisture measurement, you can do the measurement of temperature, salinity, fertilizer, right? So soil moisture sensor definitely the applications are in agriculture most of, or you can say mainly we are using in the agriculture application. You can also use it in some irrigation or in gardening. Also, if you want to do some research, then related to like soil, then you can use it. You can see in the figure, right, different some other moisture sensor, right? Soil moisture sensor. The you can see like some have the 3 terminals, some have the like 2 terminals, like this construction if you see, right? Some have the single strip type of construction, right? Some have like the construction like the heater which we are using for like to boil the water, right? So different manufacturers are producing this soil moisture sensor in different way, right? Uh, you can see this below one, this capacitive soil which is in the corner, right? Right side top corner, and the one which is like in the middle side bottom, right? Which is like it will look like two terminal, right? So this generally we are using with Arduino. So some pilot project in which we are using this Arduino kind of microcontroller, we are using this kind of sensor, soil moisture sensor. Other you will see like they are the sensor, but it will look like the equipment, or it will look like a device, right? So they have the display, so on that you can see the reading, right? So generally they are using to for only measurement purpose, and in some like you want to do some automation at the time, we are using the sensor which you can interface with the microphone, right? So it has like terminal, it has the wire kind of thing. uh, Next is a smoke and a gas sensor, right? So this is like very useful sensor, right, in safety related application, right? So almost every building, or we can say wherever some like public place, right, where more people are gathered, right? So that kind of hall, or that kind of like malls, or some government offices, right, or some private companies, right? You will find the smoke sensor, right, everywhere, which is used for fire safety. Uh, so almost all offices, industry are equipped with the several smoke detector, which is detect any smoke due to fire, and they will sound the alarm. Right? So you can see in the figure, the two are three device you will see, right? So the left and the rightmost are the sensor, and the middle one, right? It is kind of equipment generally we will see uh, in, 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 uh, in the room or in some offices, right? Which is used as a smoke detector. So these gas sensors are more common in laboratories, large scale kitchen, in some industries, right? They can detect the different gases like LPG, propane, butane, methane, etc. Right? So like for fire detection, right? Whatever sensor we are using, that is like a smoke sensor. But in the industry, in some chemical industry or in the laboratory, we are also using the gas sensor. So gas means different type of gas. So we have the sensors to detect the gases like propane, butane, methane. Also, we have the sensor to detect the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, right? So nowadays, smoke sensor, which often can be detect smoke as well as gas, are also installed in the most home as a safety measure, right? And this MQ series of sensor are a bunch of cheap sensor for detecting like carbon monoxide CO, carbon dioxide CO2, methane CH4, alcohol, propane, butane, LPG, etc. Right? Because LPG we are using at our home, right? Then the propane and butane and methane, right? They are some dangerous gas, right? So maybe they are the result of some chemical process, right? So in such industry they have the gas sensor which will detect such kind of gases, right, which are dangerous. So you can use them use these sensors to build your own smoke sensor application, right? uh, Now the next is the fiber optic sensor. So uh, this fiber optic sensor, which are also called as optical fiber sensor, right? And this sensor will use the optical fiber or optical fiber sensing element, right? So maybe you heard, I don't know, optical fiber, right? So whatever nowadays we are getting the speed of internet, right? So all those communication will happen through the optical fiber. So that is the one way to do the communication. So using the optical cable, the speed of the signal is too high, right? In which generally we are using the light. So for those application, right, or like the application in which you need the like the response time is very less, or you can say like you need the fast response. So at that place we are using this kind of optical fiber sensor, right? uh, so the sensor are used to sense some uh, quantities or physical parameter like temperature, pressure, vibration, displacement, rotation, means tiltness, or concentration of some chemical species, right? So this fiber optic sensor, like they are not the sensor which are used to measure a specific physical parameter, right? We have the optical fiber sensor which can measure the temperature. We have the fiber optic sensor which can measure the pressure, right? Some sensor we have fiber optics type which will measure the vibration. Some are the sensor which will sense the displacement or the distance, right? But the main advantage of this fiber optic sensor is like they are more accurate and the speed is very high, the response time is very less. So this fiber optics type of sensor, they are consist of the optical source, right? So optical source means the device which will generate the light, right? Or a kind of light which we are using in uh, this fiber optics communication, right? So the sources are like LED, light emitting diode, laser, which is mostly used, right? And laser diode, right? Also it has the optical fiber material itself, right? That kind of wire, sensing element, optical detector, and processing devices like optical spectrum analyzer or oscilloscope, right? So the sensor or the sensor device or the sensor equipment, right, is consist of that is all type of component, right? Optical source, optical fiber wire, and sensing material, optical detector, right? And some end processing device on which we can process the signal, or we can observe the signal, or we can analyze the signal like oscilloscope or a spectrum analyzer. Now the main feature of this optical fiber sensor are like these fibers have so many uses in the field of remote sensing, and because of they require no electric power at the remote location, and they have teeny size. So the main two advantages are like they do not need the power, electric power, to operate, right? uh, like it is not like completely they are not using electric power, right? Definitely, like to operate this LED or laser you need the power, right? But that is when you are once once you are generating the signal, right? Only at that time. After that, when you are transferring this, that whatever you sense from one place to other place, right? At that time you do not need, right? And in some application also, like in which we are using, like to present something, right? Or uh, like to find something is passed from this place, right? In such kind of application you do not need any kind of like electric power, right? So because of that feature you can use this sensor at remote places, right? And the size of the sensor you can see in the figure are very small, right? So you can see like it's look like a single wire only, nothing is there. So the sensor are supreme for insensitive conditions including noise, high vibration, extreme heat, weight, and unstable environment. So this cable you can work, you can use in any abnormal environment condition, right? So these are the main advantage of the fiber optics type of sensor, right? Uh, so these fiber optic sensors are also immune to electromagnetic interference, like no other electromagnetic or electric signal will create the interference or disturb the signal of this signal generated by the fiber optic sensor. Right? So they are immune to electromagnetic interference and do not conduct electricity, so they can be used in the places where there is a high voltage electricity or flammable material such as a jet fuel. Right? So, like in such the application where like if you use electricity, there is a chance of like they may create the fire, right? So the flammable material where we are using in such application also you can use the fire optical sensor, right? Because if the flammable material means if the temperature will increase, if you are using electricity, then there is a chance like it, it, your equipment or your component will be heated, right? So because of that there is a chance of fire, right? So in such application also we are using this fiber optic sensor, right? So like in aeroplane where we are using the fuel, near to that we are not using other type of sensor. Generally we are using fiber optic type of sensor. Then fiber optic sensor can be designed to withstand high temperature as well, right? Uh, so the sensor can easily fit in the small area, can be positioned correctly wherever this flexible fiber are needed, right? So the sensor, as we can say, one more feature is flexible. Fiber optics are flexible. So the sensor made from the this fiber optics are also flexible, right? So you can use in such areas or such application where you need that kind of that feature, right? Flexibility. The sensor are also the sensors, this fiber optics type of sensor you can classify in different categories, right? So main we have identified three categories, and these categories are based on the like operating principle, sensor location, and where they are using, right? So based on that we can give three categories, right? So first category is based on the application, right? Like in which field we are using the fiber optic sensor, right? So most of the sensor we are using in chemical industry, so you can give the class or the group as a class chemical sensor. Some we are using to measure the physical parameter, right? So they are the physical sensor. Some we are using in biomedical areas, so they are the biomedical sensor. Based on the operating principle, right, we can classify the fiber optic sensor in the three types. One is the intensity based, second is the phase based, and the third one is the polarization based. So this intensity, phase, and polarization, these three are the parameter of light. Right? In fiber optic, we are using the light, right? Uh, so this light has some intensity, light has the light waves or that light rays have phase, it has the polarization. So we will like changing those parameter of the light, and based on that we will do some measurement, right? So based on that we can give the three types, right? Intensity based fiber optic sensor, phase based, and the polarization based. Now the third category or third classification is based on the sensor location where we are using the sensor. So sensor location, So based on that, we have two classes. One is the intrinsic fiber optic sensor, and the second is the extrinsic fiber optic sensor. Slide, so we'll finish. So the intrinsic type of the fiber optic sensor. So if a fiber optic sensor use the optical fiber as a sensing element, then it is called as a intrinsic sensor or intrinsic type of fiber optic sensor. So here fiber optic wire, fiber optic material itself we are using as a sensing material, right? Uh, so here you can say the sensing take place within the fiber itself, right? This sensor, this type of sensor depends on the property of the optical fiber itself, and such properties are like the intensity, phase, polarization, wavelength, or we can select transit time of the light in the fiber, right? So this depends on this parameter. Sensor will do some changes, and based on that you will find the measure parameter, right? And the sensor will, what they will do, they will convert this property, this this parameter, intensity, phase, polarization, right, etc., this type of parameter they will convert to an environmental action into a modulation of the light beam passing through it, right? So they will change the parameter of light which is passing through the optical fiber, right? uh, based on how they are converting this parameter based on the environmental action, like you are measuring the temperature, then based on the temperature, like temperature is changing, so you are changing the intensity of light. In some type you are changing the polarization of light, and some you are changing the phase of light, depends on the temperature change, right? So that way they are working. The most useful feature of this type intrinsic is it provide the distributed sensing over the long range distance, right? So they will cover the long range, right? So that is the main advantage of this type. This intrinsic type of the optical fiber sensor can be used to measure like strain, temperature, pressure, and similar physical quantities, right? The second type is in extrinsic sensor. So this type of, how we define this type. So if a fiber optic sensor uses the optical fiber as a means of relaying signal from one remote sensor to the electronics, right? So it has some electronics that process the signal, then you can call it as a extrinsic sensor or extrinsic type of fiber optic sensor. The major benefit of this type of sensor is their ability to reach places which are unreachable, right? So you can say like very difficult to reach, right? That kind of remote places we can use this type of sensor. This type of sensor are used to measure the rotation, vibration, velocity, displacement, twisting, torque of a motor, acceleration of a motor or some device, right? So this kind of different physical parameter you can measure through the fiber optic sensor, and which are generally of extrinsic type. The sensor provide the excellent protection of measurement signal against the noise corruption, right? So that is a feature. So this is about the sensor, right? We have discussed some type of sensor, right? We have starting from what is the sensor, right? We have discussed about sensor. Okay, so this is the first portion we will finish. That is about the sensor, right? Then from the next lecture we will start the AR/VR or maybe the smart system. Okay, thank you. Anybody have any question?